Hello everyone. It feels like spring outside, so I'm excited. Actually, it feels more like summer. It's like 82 degrees, but it's officially spring. I'm super excited for this month's coffee chat. If you're new around here, our monthly coffee chat is just a time to catch up, talk about things that maybe don't need a whole video on themselves. They talk about what's working, what's not working in our TPT shops, kind of catch up. You can leave it in the comments that you have found that have been really helpful lately. And specifically this week, we're talking about planning for Q2, taking a break, and what to do when your sales are down. So I've heard that from quite a few people. So those are our main topics for today, but first, it wouldn't be a coffee chat without some coffee. So we're gonna make some coffee. Actually, we're gonna make some coffee. I'm gonna eat some lunch and then we're gonna film, but here we go. So I asked on Instagram what we should use. Spring is here. Happy Easter, because today is Easter. Happy Easter. Or Chick Magnet, and as I predicted, this was the winner. We have not redone our coffee thing, so it's still St. Patrick's Day. But we did get this little bunny. He has jelly beans in him. Anyway, here we go. Okay, let's get all nice and comfy. Get my notes out. Where should I put this? I don't know. This is really good because I spent all morning filming videos because I'm updating my Level Up Your Teacher Business course. So I need this. But it's gonna be so good, y'all. Like, I'm so excited. So let's chat. Before we get too far into this, I did want to mention that I'm going to be having a Q&A that will come out a week after this. So this video is coming out on the first Sunday of April, the 5th, I think. It's Easter Sunday, so happy Easter if you celebrate Easter. And so a week from today, there will be a Q&A. So if you have any questions about TPT, if you have any questions about blogging or YouTubing, if you have questions about product creation, if you have questions about whatever, leave them in the comments and I'm gonna take those to answer next week. So I will take your questions from the 5th until that Thursday, and then I'll film it either Thursday or Friday to post the next Sunday. So if you're watching this in real time, post your questions and I will get them answered. If you're watching it afterwards, you can still post your questions. I just won't have them in that video. So just a heads up of that before we get started. And yeah, so let's talk. It is April. Well, for me, it's gonna be April tomorrow. I kind of can't believe it. I don't know why. I'm just like, when did spring get here? How did this happen? I don't really know. Which is much better than like in January when I was like, this month is never gonna end. So I do appreciate that. March has gone pretty well for me, although we already talked a little bit later about if your sales are low, what you should do. But in particular in March, I thought I did a much better job of like balancing everything, because January and February I was like, we're going hard and working my butt off, and then in March I was like, all right, let's you know, chill a little bit, not a lot but a little bit. So that was really helpful to me, just to find a little more balance. But April means that we are entering Q2. So if you're not familiar with quarters other than like school quarters, in the business world typically you split up your year into 4 different quarters, so that's 3 months at a time. So Q1 is January, February, March. April starts Q2, which is April, May, and June, which is super exciting because it's almost like a fresh leaf. I love to sit down at the end of a quarter and like think through like, okay, what have I accomplished? What do I want to accomplish? What did I schedule that I said I was gonna do this year? Am I actually doing that? You know, all of those things that you can really like gut check yourself, especially with your like yearly goals, because in January it's easy to be like, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then a lot of times you kind of fizzle it out. But it's only the beginning of Q2. So if you did have that like, woohoo, January, we're doing all the things, and then you didn't do all the things, then now is the time to be like, oh, okay, well, let's see if we can still do that, because there's still so much time between now and the end of the year. So if you have maybe dropped the ball a little bit, I want you to look back, think about your yearly goals, think, do you still care about them? Because that's a big thing. Because sometimes you might be like, yeah, I don't even care about that anymore. Or you might think like, oh, I set the bar too low and I need to make it higher. But go back to those yearly goals and think through like, am I on track for them? And if not, what do I need to change? Because there's still like a lot of the year left. But I find a lot of times that people don't have enough like sense of urgency about their goals, and so they'll let kind of like the whole year get gone, and then they get to October and they're like, oh crud, I didn't do anything, and now it's the last quarter. So like right now, gut check yourself and go and check and make sure you're like on par for where you want to be. And if you don't care about those anymore, that's fine too. Specifically, each quarter I like to sit down and think through like, okay, what has gone well, what needs to be better, and then what can we keep, change, start, or stop. Those are like my 6 little prompts. And especially that keep, change, start, and stop are really, really helpful. The other thing, so I do that and then I look through my goals and see like, okay, are they still relevant? Do I still care about them? And then what can I work on this quarter or the next couple of months that maybe I need to get a hold on. So I usually split my goals up into quarters anyway. So I was like, okay, what are things that I want to do in like quarter 2? That way I didn't have to stress about them quarter 1. And so like, what do I need to work on now in the next couple of months? So like for me, I know in the next couple months, I got a lot of stuff to do because we are, it's just me. I am revamping my Level Up Your Teacher Business course. It's now been out for not quite a year, but I talked to some of the people who originally took it, asked them for their feedback, you know, what they would like to see. I have like some ideas of what I would like to include. And so I'm creating a couple of new modules, not a ton of stuff, but just things I feel like you should know for your business and adding those in. So there's gonna be like a new huge launch in May, which is super exciting. So get ready for that if you're watching this in real time. I'm very excited about that. And then I'm also creating a new course, which I need your help with. So I won't tell you the whole story. Long story short, I was originally like, I want to make a content marketing course where we talk about blogging, we talk about YouTube and like all of the things. And then I was like, that's a lot, let's bring it down. And I was going to do like a small, like getting started on YouTube, getting started blogging as 2 small little things. And then as I started thinking about all the things I needed to include, it became bigger and bigger and bigger until it was like, yeah, this is like a full course. So my question is, I then was like, okay, if I'm gonna do blogging, that it's gonna be like this whole big thing. Would you prefer just like a blogging course or like a content marketing course where we talk about content marketing as a whole, and then we have like a module about blogging and a module that's YouTube specific? Because a lot of the stuff is the same for both of them. So do you want just blogging, or would you like more of like a big picture, like full circle, and then we can have both those routes? So either way, it's gonna have, the blogging content will stay the same. The only thing that's changing is, should we add YouTube in there, or should I make YouTube like its separate thing? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I was like really stressing about this, and then I was like, why don't I just go and ask my audience, because y'all know everything, right? I hope not, otherwise you wouldn't need me. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is something that's really hard for me, and that is taking a break. So this goes out to all of my fellow workaholics. I've seen this a lot from people who have either been like on one side, like really overwhelmed and stressed, or on the other side, trying to take a break and having a hard time. If you are like me and you just want to work all the time, if you're, you know, Enneagram 1, Enneagram 3s talking to you, and you just want to work all the time, and you have a really hard time chilling out, first of all, I feel ya. I know not everyone feels ya, because some people think that's weird. I feel ya. I have the hardest time just like chilling, but I'm working on it. So if you are one of those people, I would really encourage you to take a break when you feel like you need it. I know that sounds dumb. I'm telling you anyway, because I have a really hard time with that. I'm currently on spring break. Woohoo! By the time you watch this, I won't be, which is a little bit sad, but you know, it's okay. And yesterday, I just, y'all, oh, first of all, we had a weekend. So I promised I would share this story. This weekend on Saturday, first of all, my husband was out of town all weekend. He and his dad and his brother went to a like race, like a NASCAR race. And so they were all gone from like Friday morning to Monday night. Like 2 o'clock morning, Monday night. And so on Saturday, I went to actually go to my in-laws house, and my tire blew out. and like really, really bad blew out, not like a little blowout, but like you heard it, you felt it. You could like see all the steel inside. Like it was bad, it was bad. On 95, which if you are from the East Coast, you will know that is not a place you want to have your tire blow out, and over a construction zone. So I couldn't even like pull over because there was no like shoulder because it was construction, and I was like freaking out. So I finally get pulled over. I get like roadside assistance. They come and help me because I didn't have a jack to like jack up my car. Long story short, we get the spare on. I get down the road. I get about 20 minutes down the road, and there's a large, loud snapping noise, and then my steering wheel wouldn't quite work. Like it would turn a teensy bit, but it was like, it was very, very, like something was wrong, and I was like, what the heck just happened? And again, you could hear it. Like I knew it was fine, and then it wasn't fine. So I managed to like pull over into a parking lot, and I happened to be really close to my husband's grandparents. So like his grandma came and picked me up because his granddad was at work because he's an EMT, and so it was like this whole big thing. And then they like finally got me home, and I've been stranded at my house. We think it's okay. So yeah, we think it was just like a band in there. His grandpa went and like picked it up because luckily they all are like really good with cars. So he like picked it up on his like trailer and took it to his house, and he found like the part that was bad and got that fixed. And then like my father-in-law is getting me some tires, and they're gonna redo the tires and stuff. So we should be okay. But it was really, really stressful. Really stressful is the boiling point, the point of my story. It was a very stressful day because it was like not one but two really, really, really dramatic, scary, like I don't think I've ever been that terrified in my life, moments back to back. And then on top of that, like my husband and my father-in-law, the mechanic, being out of town until Monday, like that is really dramatic. And then it's just, oh, it was scary. Now I'm really grateful for a couple things. I'm really grateful that my tire did blow out, because if my motor had not worked on 95, that would have been a problem versus like the small little back road I was on later. I was really glad it happened on Saturday in the middle of the day and not like Friday night in the middle of the night when I was driving home from my friend's house. Really glad that like I had stopped and gotten some food that I don't usually get food on Friday, but I like picked up some stuff from the grocery store. There's just like, there were so many good things that happened that I was like, thank you, Jesus, that you knew all this was gonna happen and you like laid it out correctly. But my point being, that was really stressful. And then my husband got home in like the middle of the night on Monday night, and so like I didn't sleep well because, you know, like we left the lights on and then the dogs were barking, and like it was just a whole big thing. My point being, on Tuesday I was like, I'm tired, I'm not feeling anything, I don't want to do anything. And I don't feel that way often, maybe like once or twice a month, but it was like nothing's happening, and so I didn't do anything. And that really stresses me out, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, but I have all these things that I want to do. I have, you know, like this whole course that I'm making, and I have this and this and this. But I was like, you know what, I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to, because I'm on spring break, so I don't have to. And so I literally did nothing. I think I like played with my planner for a little bit, and then I like watched Supergirl all day, and it was great. But then today I woke up and I was kind of expecting to feel the same. I think I was worried that if I like didn't do anything yesterday, that I would just be like, I don't feel like doing anything for like the rest of time, and I would never get up and do things anymore, I think was one of my concerns. But my point being that today I woke up and I was like awake and energized and ready to go, and I wasn't even planning on filming the videos for the update for the course today, but I was like, I'm gonna film all the videos, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. And I just had so much energy that I would not have had if I hadn't taken that day on Tuesday. So my point is, if you tend to be a workaholic, if you tend to work really hard, I would encourage you to take a break when you feel like you need it, even if it's just small. Like just now, I was gonna go straight from filming to filming, and instead I was like, you know what, let me stop, let me eat a snack, and then I'll get into it. And I just felt so much better afterwards. So first of all, I feel ya. Secondly, like if you need it, just take it, because you're gonna be able to do so much more afterwards. You know, today I had all the energy because yesterday I didn't do anything. So there's my little tip for you. And if you're someone who does not struggle with taking a break, you're probably like, these people are crazy. But for real, like I have the hardest time just sitting and not doing anything. It's a struggle. And it's something you like really have to work on, because otherwise you just work yourself into the ground. Because if I had tried to film all these videos yesterday, like I would have been miserable and so frustrated. And then today it would have been even worse. So take a break if you need it. Next thing I want to talk about is the TPT morning check-in. So if you work on TPT in the mornings, specifically on Instagram, we're doing something new on stories. It's not actually that new, we've been doing it for a while, but I wanted to mention it. If you work in the morning on TPT, go follow me. It's at Becca.e.davis. I apologize that that's obnoxious. I did not pick my name. Well, like my birth name, I did pick that name, but I cannot help that there are many other Becca Davises in the world. So every morning when I work and other people have joined in, we just like take a picture of whatever we're working on. So whether that's writing an email, working on a product, whatever, use the hashtag TPT morning check-in and then tag me on it and timestamp it. And it's just been so nice to like see, first of all, just that you're not alone, because it can be really hard being like all alone in my office working, you know, at 4 o'clock in the morning. But there's other people there. It'll also help hold you accountable. So maybe if you have a hard time getting up to work on the TPT morning check-in, that'll help. And then also it's really been cool to like see the evolution, because when we have people who do it every day, I can like see what you're working on every day. And so it's just really cool for the rest of us to see like, oh, look at, you know, each day you're adding on to something, which is just really super cool. So go follow and join us for the TPT morning check-in. It's really fun. Next up, I wanted to briefly mention that if you have products, which I assume you do, or you wouldn't be watching this, don't forget to mention them. I recently, in the last vlog, I mentioned the book I wrote, The Happier Teacher Life, which is all about managing stress and all of those good things that go into having a happier life, even as a super busy teacher, and just like doing all those things. So I like launched this in October and made a huge deal about it. And then I mentioned it in my vlog the other day. And I sent it in an email and I was like, hey, you know, if you're interested, you can get this book. I'll also link it down below if you are interested. It's super short and really super actionable. Like, here are steps you can take in order to be less stressed. Anyway, and I had people who emailed me back and were like, oh, it's so cool that you wrote a book. And I was like, didn't you know that I wrote a book? Because I feel like everybody knew it, but apparently everyone did not. So my point is that your followers also probably feel the same about your resources. They may not know, especially if it's something, you know, 6 months ago or a year ago that it's been a while since you talked about it, they may not know it exists. So don't forget to mention things and bring things back up every once in a while in order to make sure that people are aware, so that, you know, they can't purchase the book if they don't know that you wrote a book. And when you went through all the work to make a book, like, it's really important to get people to purchase. So my point being, don't be scared to mention your products. All right, and the last thing we're gonna talk about is what to do when your sales are down. So I've had a lot of messages through February and then again through the end of March about people being like, why are my sales down? My sales are down, what do I do? What's wrong with my products? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? Okay, so my tips are, number one, don't stress, because sales are going to fluctuate. It just happens. Sales are going to fluctuate. So don't stress, especially if it's only been like a couple days or like a week. Chill out, take some deep breaths, and then look and see if there's anything around it. So specifically, like, it's right now, when you're watching this April, whatever. And so people in the US have just either finished spring break or about to go on spring break. Most of the spring breaks were like the week of the 17th, the week after, or this last week of March, or somewhere in April. People don't need resources when it's spring break. So they sometimes our sales go down because of spring break, or because of winter break, or because of summer break. And like, those are things that just happen and you can't control them. So don't stress about it. Think about those things. Having said that, this kind of goes contrary to what I just said, but don't be like, well, I'm just not gonna make any money because it's spring break, because that's also not the right mentality to have. I don't want you to blame spring break for your lack of sales. I want you to always take responsibility for your business, but just be aware that there are outside factors like breaks and, you know, different things like that. Now, if you are experiencing this, then the best tip I can give you is to see if you can create some traffic somehow. because you're probably, if you like your sales were here and they went down to here, that's a traffic issue, not necessarily a conversion issue, because your products aren't like magically gonna convert less overnight. That would be weird, but you might need some more traffic. So any avenue that you have that you can send traffic to, do that. On breaks, teachers spend a lot of time on Pinterest. So I love to make sure that I'm really being on Pinterest on breaks, because I can post products, and even if people don't purchase immediately, they're still like, oh, hey, that would be cool when we get back to school. And then they might purchase when we get back to school. So Pinterest is a great place to look, or social media. Again, teachers are on social media a lot more when they're on break because they have time. So see if you can post on social media. If you have a blog or a YouTube channel, then highly recommend. This is the best way to get traffic, especially long-term traffic. Make a video about your product. Or if you don't want to make a video about your product, maybe you have whatever product you're gonna do. So for example, I was talking about a virtual field trip to the forest to learn about piano and forte, which means loud and quiet. And so that is something that I can talk about, and I can say, like, you know, I can make a video or a blog post about my virtual field trip, or I can say like how to use virtual field trips in your classroom, or 3 of my favorite ways to teach forte and piano, or songs that we use to teach forte and piano. Like, those are all things that you can talk about that are not necessarily like, here's my product, but you are mentioning it in your video or your blog post. So that's called a soft sell, when you're not like really specific, here's my product, but you are talking about it. So that would be the best thing you could do. Social, emails, just sending an email. I always notice a spike in sales on days that I send emails. Those things are all great. Also, if you have an audience, running a sale could be helpful. I actually did this last week on Thursday because my sales have been down because of spring break, which I knew that was the reason. So I was like, don't stress about it, Becca. But I still wanted to kind of give a little bit of a boost to my sales. So I had a sale last week on Thursday, a little like flash sale. I didn't know that we were gonna have a sale in April. By the way, if you need help with that, I have a video all about how to prep for a sale, so I'll leave that below. But I did that because I was like, I need a little boost, and I know that people are not really shopping for stuff because a lot of people were about to go on break. So my point being, that brought in quite a bit of money. I made like 500 bucks on Thursday, which was really helpful to just like make sure that kind of counteracted some of my lower days. That being said, I have found from experience that running sales on your own, like not part of the TPT sale, really only works if you can drive traffic yourself. So sales work really well if you have an email list and you have social media and they will actually like do stuff. But if you have a really small audience, full disclosure, running a sale is probably not gonna do much. You're probably not gonna sell much. It's probably not gonna make a big deal. I know that stinks. I feel you, because I've been there where I ran sales and literally sold nothing all day, and it stinks. But if you have an audience, like that's why we talk about growing your audience on social. That's why we talk about email lists, because that is how you can do things like that, where you're like, okay, I need some money, let's throw a little sale, or let's send an email about this product and stuff like that, so that you can boost those sales. So if you don't have an audience yet, work on building that audience ASAP so that you can then do stuff like that. Now, the other thing you can do is more of a long-term strategy, but that is to create a seasonal product. So if you have, especially if there's like a month that's maybe a little bit lower than usual, see if you can create a seasonal product for that month or that season. So if you find that March is low, March is Women's History Month, so you could do that. Or March is St. Patrick's Day, you could do that. March is spring, so you could do like spring stuff. Those things can all help. We're about to go into April. April, for my music people, April is jazz month. April is also spring. Again, April is testing, so if you do like you know, what to do during testing, those are all things you could do with that. You could start doing end of the year stuff for May and June. Those things will all help. But if you notice, especially if you notice it year after year, there's kind of like a dip in sales in a particular area, see if you can make a seasonal resource for that month. Now, especially depending on like when you create it, if you make it, I actually did this, I wanted to make some women-based, like women in music lessons. And so I want to do one in Clara Schumann. And do you know what day I got that posted? Like the 24th of March. And when I posted it, I knew that no one was gonna buy it for Women's History Month because it was like already over. But I was like, well, you know, some people might buy it in the next couple of months and then next year we'll be set. So I went ahead and posted it anyway because I'd already been working on it. But I knew when I did that no one was going to really buy it. It was gonna make a lot better influence if I had posted it on like March 1st or in February or something like that, so that it was already ready to go. So seasonal resources can be great, but do be aware of when you're posting them. I saw this, oh my gosh, y'all. I was watching someone's Instagram stories and it was like 2 days before St. Patrick's Day. And they were like, check out my new St. Patrick's Day resource. And I was like, they have 2 days to purchase this. And they probably already wrote their lesson plans for this week. So that was maybe not the best use of your time. Now again, if you have it done already, that's fine, but it would be better to spend your time on something else if you can't get it done in time. But seasonal resources can be a good way to boost sales in particular times of the year. If you are really struggling, especially like a particular month or particular season, see if you can kind of boost those up. All right, friends, so that I think is all I needed to tell you about what to do when your sales are down. Don't freak out. Look for external factors, possibly make a seasonal resource and see how much traffic you can drive to TPT. I hope you enjoyed this coffee chat. I know that they're kind of all over the place, but they're my favorite because we get to talk about a bunch of stuff and it's just really casual and things like that where like I could have made a whole video about it, but I plan my videos in so far in advance, honestly, friends, that it's like, a lot of times it's like, well, I can make this video in like 3 months. But by the time 3 months gets here, like it's been a while. So I love being able to give you more like real-time information in these videos and let you know things like that there's gonna be a new launch of my course and things like, you know, just things that are on my mind, things that are on my mind. So leave down below in the comments, how did March go for you? Did you find it was successful, not successful? Have your sales been down? How do you help when your sales are down? And just anything that you have learned over the past month that we could gain from. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're already subscribed, but if you're not, then definitely click the link down below and I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful April and I'll see you in May. And May is the last month of school. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. Y'all, your girl is over this year. I just want to be done. So close, just 2 more months. We can do it.